Hello, dear co-creative destiny weavers. Here's Ari, very flowery. That's how I always like to call me when I read out or tell fairy tales. Like I invited you today to today's St. Nicholaus evening. So, like officially it's from today in the evening and tomorrow St. Nicholas Day. I sent out an open invitation to tell a bit about the background, who was St. Nicholaus, and also known as Father Frost in the Slavic background where I'm from, or Santa Claus in America. Yeah, who is this winter spirit in general? Yeah, since nobody came live to listen to this fairy tale and to make a Santa Claus boot or stocking today, I still wanted to just stream it to YouTube and share it. This this fairy tale and the invocation to make the stocking ourselves, because self-made things are just the best, I think. And in that way, we always make a present for ourselves as well. Yeah. So in my intercultural calendar, which I put the link, you can buy via Amazon. I've published it in German and English. But today's and tomorrow's St. Nicholas Day, I wrote, Bishop Nicholas of Myra lived in the 4th century in the southwest of present-day Turkey. 6th of December is the day of his death, and that's why we remember him on the 6th of December. He is also an important saint of the Eastern churches, and there are many legends surrounding him. He is said to have given all his money to help the poor and to have saved 3 girls from prostitution and to have miraculously saved a ship from shipwreck. Today he comes to families in the St. Nicholas play on the St. Nicholas Day on the eve of the 6th of December, or feels the boots that children put outside the door on St. Nicholas Eve with nuts, tangerines, and sweets. Have a look. Like that's, for example, what I've made myself for my son, and I embroidered his name and a beautiful bell here and a deer. That's like an idea what I wanted to do today together with you. But since nobody came to my co-creative circle, I just show it to you as an inspiration that you might want to do it in your own time. And this is like very simple, just cut out like a tree and glue it on. I already prepared a new shape, which I'm gonna do after I told this story about Father Frost. Just like some ideas. Or for example, like this. This is like a free jar, aluminium jar. Very simple. You can, as an idea like this. Maybe you want to do some of your Santa stockings as well for tomorrow or for tonight, because the tradition also goes that the winter spirit either is St. Nicholas or Santa Claus Sinterklaas in Netherlands, or Father Frost. They come with horses, or in Scandinavia they come with the deers. That's where our deer Rudi with the red nose comes from. Or it is said that he comes through the chimneys from today's in the evening, from the 5th of December to the 6th of December. So maybe you want to be creative today to make your own stocking. I personally also am very inspired by the book by Wolf-Dieter Stoll. Here it's in German. There are very few copies also translated into English. It's called The Old Goddess, the Ancient Goddess and Her Plans. And here he speaks about this time before the solstice and around the Christmas time. It's also called the Yule time in old pagan Germanic traditions. He appears in many different ways, this winter spirit in pagan traditions. Also in Slavic tradition, he is said to travel with the mushroom, the poisonous flying mushroom, I think it's called. It's said that the old shamans, they used to eat this mushroom and then travel like in trance to the dream world. And that's where this symbolism of the traveling winter spirit comes from, at least in the Slavic tradition. And then with the Christian faith, this winter spirit turned into Saint Nicholaus, like I just read out to you my summary of my intercultural calendar. He turned into this bishop, but also in this red coat and bringing presents to the poor and to children. But really, I think this is the same figure, like Wolf-Dieter Stoll also speaks about in his book. That it's all about this winter spirit. And also the pagan tradition used to bring like greens, like our tree, which is decorated. It goes back to this tradition that people used to bring in green leaves or green trees, figs that blossom the whole year around. Like the Celts, for example, the mistletoe. I also brought in a mistletoe, which I'm going to put between the doors, between the entrance door, like here. Mistletoe for me is a very special medicine plant anyway, because on my journey with breast cancer, I inject myself the mistletoe 3 times a week. It is a great plant to strengthen the immune system, and it's hanged between the doors because it connects us to our ancestors, the other world, the dead world of the ancestors, and the world in the here now. Also the ivy, I made a crown of ivy, which also greens all year round. And it's also my medicine plant, which I also have tattooed on my arm. Very resistant plant and grows all year around. And this tradition of bringing in the Christmas tree or herbs or like all greeneries which bloom all year round. That's the background to that. So I'm curious, like how the winter spirit is presented in your cultural background. And Santa Claus was invented by Coca-Cola company in America, in this specific clothes that he is wearing. But really, this tradition of the winter spirit, call it Saint Nicholaus or Father Frost or Santa Claus or Santa Claus, it's got a very long tradition. And since I come from Kazakhstan, I was brought up the first 9 years of my life with Russian fairy tales. I like to tell you the fairy tale of Father Frost. It's taken out of this beautiful book of Russian fairy tales. And the illustrations are based on this very, very old artistic style. It's called Palek art. Palek is certain region in Russia. Very beautiful paintings, like the one here of Father Frost. Or here, there are all different details of the fairy tale inside the painting. And I put it on the boxes, on spoons, of course, in fairy tale books. It's a very old art, Palek art. Very, very beautiful. And since it's in German, I'm going to tell it freely, this fairy tale of Father Frost, coming from the Slavic tradition. So once upon a time, the wife of a man died and he got married again. And as in many stories, the stepmother, she was very evil and horrible. And husband had a daughter and she had a daughter. And while the daughter of the man, she was very, very good and very kind, the stepdaughter was very jealous and horrible as the stepmother. And the stepmother, she was starting to thinking how to get rid of the beautiful daughter. So she ordered to her husband to bring the daughter in the woods. She was called Snowflake Bushka. And even though the man, he didn't want to do it, of course he loved his daughter, finally he gave in. And he did bring her into the deep woods full of snow and frost and left her there. The daughter, this young woman, she felt despair, but at the same time, she always remained optimistic. And then after a while, she heard, like in snow, like someone is like walking through the snow, and the trees were like making some noise, like something was coming close to her, nearing her. And she heard a whisper in the back of her, "Oh, beautiful young woman, do you have cold? Do you have cold?" And even though she was very cold, she remained warm-hearted and optimistic. And I was saying, oh, Father Frost, it's okay. I'm warm. And a little later, she heard again a whispering voice, coming closer and closer to her. Don't you have cold, beautiful young woman? Don't you have cold? And even though she was even more cold than before, she still said, no, Father Frost, I like it like that. I'm warm enough. And then she heard this voice even closer. So, young woman, are you not really cold? Are you not really cold? And she repeated again, no, Father Frost, I'm warm and I'm good. And then in return, Father Frost gave her like a cloak out of, a really warm cloak out of fur, and a sack full of gold and silver as a thank you that she didn't abandon him and push him away. And so she started to return back home. And the stepmother was thinking, oh, she must be dead in this cold out there. And she already prepared a meal to celebrate. And then she gave something to the dog to eat. And the dog was barking and was saying, the young woman, she is not dead. But your daughter, she is never going to find someone to marry her. Just wait. This other daughter is going to return and she is rich, full of gold and silver. And even though the stepmother didn't want to believe it, that's how it happened. The daughter arrived back and all rich and glowing. And so the stepmother, even though she couldn't believe her eyes, she ordered her husband, so bring my daughter now to the woods. I want that she is going to be gifted even more gold and silver. And so the husband did as she ordered him. He brought her to the woods and left her there. And then after a little while, she was so freezing. And then she heard this voice, oh, young woman, have you got cold? Have you got cold? She was already like really angry, like leave me alone. I'm very, very cold. And then after a while, Father Frost again whispered in her ear, oh, young woman, do you have cold? Do you have cold? And she again replied, even more desperate and even more angry, I can't believe this coldness, and you're so horrible, Father Frost. I hate you. And then Father Frost came even closer to her, and she really was like so stuck, full of coldness. And he was asking, have you got cold? Have you got cold? And she did reply, yes, I have got so cold, and it's all your fault. I hate you, Father Frost. And so in return, Father Frost made her into ice. And she died. And this is how she returned back to the stepmother. And the dog already smelled her coming back and was barking and shouting, your daughter, she is returning and she is all dead, while the other daughter is all rich and even more beautiful than before. And this is what happened. Yeah, I like this story, and I see it as an initiation of going to the deep woods. Like a lot of times in our life, when we go through very difficult challenges, like the frost and the woods here in this fairy tale, how easily do we abandon that what is bringing us hardship, like Father Frost here. But I see it as a deeper wisdom to still surrender to that what is. Like, for example, on my journey with cancer, from the very beginning, I said to myself, this is an initiation into my highest good, and I'm going to return from this underworld journey even stronger than before. And that's why I like this story, or like last week, the fairy tale about Baba Yaga, who also initiated Vasilisa. And here Father Frost initiates the snowflake girl. She is then actually called in Russian Snegushka. It's like snowflake translated. And that's how she becomes his ally, who travels with him in his snow slides, and to bring the presents in Russia, not like here in Europe on the 24th or 25th, but actually from the 31st to the New Year's. That's originally when children get their presents. Or in the Orthodox tradition, it's on the 6th of January. And I think that this is a very similar initiation with nature, and here with Father Frost, to surrender to what is, and being embraced by magical gifts. Like he gives her everything, like abundant riches, after she completely surrenders to the frost, and let him come close to her and envelop her in with his frost, but at the same time, through her love and surrender, it transforms magically in this abundance. Yeah, I'm curious, if you listen to this fairy tale, what you think about it. How is this winter spirit represented in your culture, where you're from? You're welcome to gift yourself a Christmas gift of my intercultural calendar with the link I put underneath. And maybe you like to make your own Santa stocking for tonight's and tomorrow's St. Nicholaus Day, as it's known in Christian tradition. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your day. A happy St. Nicholas Day. Happy Yule time, which is gonna arrive now. And stay with us. And many, many blessings. In Russian, Благодарю.